world filled with inequality and judgment. We've grown to teach women to not wear revealing clothing and not teach individuals to respect women. While that may be somewhat of an exaggeration, there are unfortunate instances where predators will take advantage of the victim and the victim will be put at fault for provoking the predator. There is no such thing as an invitation for sexual harassment or assault based on what someone is wearing or how they're acting, and it is definitely not a reason that can be used as a defense for rapists, while in most cases that's exactly what they do. Based on this, our modern society has surfaced the belief that men are unable to constrain their sexual urges, and it is set as an uncontrollable phenomenon, while women are taught to avoid this as if it were a raging Godzilla, only able to protect themselves by dressing how they want to be addressed. Our modern society also happens to be a civilized place where we have learned to develop a functioning government system rather than eating rocks. We are not animals, and we should not accept the idea of resorting back to this primal stage of evolution, suggesting that some people have no control over their actions and that women are represented as sexual objects. All that is said, the victims are never at fault because they are not the ones who are harassing and assaulting others based on what they're wearing. One early aspect of this belief that women are provoking rapists can be exemplified in school dress codes, suggesting that female students should not wear provocative clothing because they are distracting the male students. From the opposing perspective, you could argue that the female student is putting herself as bait to a predator. However, that is not the case, and it should be taught that women are not defined by the clothing they wear. In consideration of this topic, an unfortunate tragedy that took place about 8 months ago was the death of my dear friend in a terrible car crash on the way to my house. While mourning the loss of his life, one of the adults that heard of the tragedy had the audacity to say, "He should not have been speeding, let this be a lesson to all of you." The way this adult said this at the time made it seem as if he deserved to die for his actions. A young man at the age of only 16 who had so much potential deserved to die to teach us a lesson based on what this individual said. While the difference between these two situations of sexual assault and speeding turned out to be a natural correlation of speeding having its consequences, rape or sexual assault should never be a natural occurrence. But in relation to these two topics, was there really a need to blame the victim in both situations? Do we really need to lose this young man's life to learn something about speeding? Do we really need to learn a lesson for women not to wear what they want when they are sexually assaulted? Do we really need to victimize those who are in any kind of pain and traumatization for being put in a situation that they could have not predicted? The idea of putting the blame on women is disgusting, and there has never been a situation where anyone deserved it. And there is never truly an effective argument against something that is so morally wrong. From observation, most women are taught at an early age that they should not wear revealing clothing, that they should not go out, be out late at night, and that they should not make themselves a vulnerable target for sexual violence, all often for the same reason. Of course, we live in a world where this will never go away no matter how many times it is taught in a classroom to not abuse women. And while still living in the real world, it only makes sense to keep yourself safe rather than take risks at the edge of danger. We shouldn't be telling people that they can't wear what they want, but to teach predators, to prevent predators by doing these things. The reality of it is that we should not be treating women as if they are only a target, and similarly, we should not be treating men as if they are all predators. All in all, it is not right to say she's asking for it, or if she wears this, then she's going to get raped, or even she deserved it. Did you see how she was acting and what she wore? If you put yourself in that scenario, either being told those phrases or knowing someone that is going through these gross misogynistic comments, how would you feel?